Welcome, everyone, to Office Hours for Teach Me PCB. I'm Mark, the creator of Teach Me PCB and co-facilitator of this year's course, along with my good friend Jesse Robinson and course rock star Elliot Wakefield. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you?
Good. Elliot, how about you, buddy?
I'm good today.
All right. Good talk, Elliot. Jesse, you've had quite a bit of weather in your area lately, yeah?
Yeah, just for the time of year where you wake up and shovel and you get home from work and you shovel.
Fun?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had something similar once. I mean, out here in Southern California, I woke up and we had some pretty bad weather, and I had to turn on my windshield wipers, so I can relate. So what's going on? And here's Andrew joining us too. Hi,
ahoy,
Andrew.
ahoy. Hello.
Hello.
Don't everybody talk all at once, though. It's difficult for people to hear.
Does everyone have their boards up and going? Elliot, you've had, I don't know what revision you're on.
Yeah, I've got a few. They're good to go.
Elliot, do you have another audio source?
Let me figure it out. Just a second.
Thanks.
Yeah, so I got my board. It works. It mostly works. The only thing that is not working is the LCD or is the e-ink, which I think is a issue of. Well, actually, I'm not entirely sure. I think it's a design issue potentially. I've had to make a couple of revisions already. I'm going to show you my bodges I've had to do, or I don't know what you call them, but you can see. So that's this right here. Those are the two 1 ohm resistors I found in my kit that I put together to make a 0.5 ohm resistor. And then this one over here is the resistor I needed to add for the. I don't even know what that's for. Oh, it's for the 3 point. It's for the TTL voltage converter, the 3.3 to 5 volt converter. I didn't have the enable pins correctly set, so that's kind of been it. There's a handful of resistors I've replaced with 0 ohm resistors, which is because I didn't ended up needing them. But everything else works fine. Like the buttons all work. I got the switches replaced. The encoder switches work now. So that's great. I can power it up here. I can show you if you want.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, of course.
You guys hear me now?
Yeah, that's much better, Elliot.
I was going to say that looks excellent.
Thank you.
All right, the cat has finished eating his treat that he requires I hold for him while he chews because he's not spoiled. Turn down my overheads a little. See if I can. I was coming in a little hot there. So for those of you who were following along in the forums, we had a little bit of an issue with Andrew's board in that he misread a 0.47 ohm resistor as a 47 ohm resistor. And this was on a boost converter where it mattered. Sometimes you get away with stuff, sometimes you don't. That schematic, man, that still bothers me. There's some things they did that I just wouldn't do, like that floating gate on the switching. Jesse, would you do that?
No, because you don't know what's going to happen. Like you had mentioned, if you don't have anything connected, like that floating voltage could be pinging that boost converter and causing issues.
Yeah, and then you end up frying stuff. So if you always want to, whenever you design for a what if scenario. And if somebody leaves maybe they don't have the FFC cable all the way in, or maybe they knock it out by accident when they're testing, you hit it with your scope probe. Those things come out relatively easily on some of those connectors, some not. You don't want to fry your circuit. So design for what if. What if something goes wrong? What if something goes bad? So, hi, Paul Daly.
Hello. Is my audio good?
Yeah, audio's good, man.
Okay.
Welcome from Costa Rica. How's everything
Yeah.
been?
It's busy a little bit, but it's going good. I'm glad that there's only minor possibly static or ESD or something issues with some of the LEDs when they're doing patterns. So on my board, so that's cool.
Oh, interesting.
But I think it's more of like it could be a solderability. Elliot kind of diagnosed it with me in chat the other day, but
Oh, nice. I think I missed that one. So what were the symptoms and what was the solution?
Well, I was just, I mean, I've got this, here, I can try to show it. Wow, LEDs just do not want to work. So I made a knob on the rotary encoder that you guys cannot see at all. It's just, but as I turn the knob down, it lowers my volume, and then the LEDs kind of increase from green to yellow to red. And once it's all the way up, it goes fully red. But when I was doing this, as I kept doing it up and down, sometimes I'd get green LEDs where I wasn't addressing them to be green, or red to where it shouldn't be red. And even a further development today, which makes me think it's maybe like some sort of ESD thing, when I plugged in my laptop charger, which would be connecting to earth ground, it doesn't do it anymore. So I think it's maybe like a static or something. But I think this one does bright. Oh, that's on the tab switching. But I'm borrowing Elliot's some of Elliot's code, but from that initial starter thing, it is just too bright for this to be able to see. But I've got LEDs on here that change brightness on this encoder, and I can turn it all the way off, or as it increases in brightness, I'm increasing the brightness on my screen, which is kind of fun.
That is cool. Yeah, sometimes those issues like that are very difficult to diagnose. Interesting.
Yeah.
What test equipment do you have available to you down there, Paul?
Approximately nothing. That's we moved here between my wife and I with just 4 suitcases, so it's pretty light. But I'm satisfied with it. And the other cool thing that I was just working on, if I can steal a couple more minutes, I kind of interrupted late, and then
no,
but I have. So I'm wearing my circuit board is Majora's Mask from the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. It's a pretty fun character. I'm trying to like show it on my shirt there, but I have here. Is
that from Zelda?
Yeah, Zelda.
Yeah,
Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Yep. And I own an N64 and Zelda, and I grew up playing that, but it's been like a really long time. And I had the desire to play it, so I have it on an emulator here. And I was like, well, what could I do to this board to make it play it? Because I don't have a joystick, but I just mapped the buttons to move Link around on the screen. And then, not that one. Where's the other ones? One of these buttons is supposed to be pressing the sword and stuff, but I'm changing LEDs as well. So that's all right.
Very
that was something
cool.
I was just working on. But yeah.
That is very cool. Well, by all means, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I put a Calendly request for a debrief for everyone in the course. So Paul, bring that back, man. I'd love to talk to you about all the features that you implemented.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've got to work on it a little bit more. I've been bouncing around and not touching it too much, but it should be cool. I mean, I think there's a lot of opportunity for different things. Oh, the other thing that this does that I think is kind of neat is I wanted to implement the light sensor somehow. So the maximum brightness that the LEDs can be is determined by the brightness that the light sensor sees. So I'm covering my finger over the light sensor, and you can see it's a lot darker than, or let's see, it just got brighter
Mm-hmm.
when I changed it. So there's a cap that I put in, or like a limit to the brightness that it can be when the ambient light is dark. So
Very cool, man. Very
Yeah.
cool.
that's,
Are
Yeah.
you happy with it?
yeah, I'm happy with it. I mean, I wish I had a joystick a little bit because of the game implementation, but I've got Etch-a-Sketch mode, which is kind of fun. Is one of these, it has the mouse XY and control, or XY control, so I can, just move the mouse cursor really slow.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, as we found out, I forget from who did the joystick, but not all joysticks are created equal.
Goof,
Yep.
I think.
Yeah, I think that was Goof. Good job.
So, all right. Well, there we go.
That's my
well,
board.
cool, man. That is a cool looking little board. Good job, Paul.
It was fun. And I came at the tail end of seeing the Enoji, I think, right? Is that Andrews?
Enoji, I believe, is
Not Enoji.
Moni's.
I didn't actually see the board. Sorry. I heard it playing in the. Okay, yeah.
This one?
Yep, that one.
Yeah.
You were given the talk and my
Yeah.
computer
Well,
was playing. Yeah.
I can do it again because now I got the code running on it. So here's
Okay.
the board, and I'll kind of do this. So those LEDs that are on right now, it's just the two rotary encoders. Those are blinking, and the fade up, fade down, that's being controlled exclusively by that PCA, whatever that chip is. Yeah, that PCA 9745 Bravo. So that's kind of cool because basically I just set it once and then it controls it automatically. It has its own internal clock and does that. So there's no load on the Pico when you do that. And then if I click that, and I just have some basic stuff. So you can see, I just have like the going through. So there's like the red, and you can see. And so up here, this is the button I made. Oh, there we go. Sorry. I have it set so it fades in and out with the light sensor just to mess around with that. So you can see how that shines through right there with this button. So that's just a key switch, and it lights up blue, or it lights up white. And then I think that's kind of it. Oh yeah, you can also see if I do this. Let's see if I do it like this. So the top one, I have it set so that it kind of goes. It adds more blue, or it adds more red in as you cover the sensor. It's kind of hard to see on camera. So a lot of it was really just sort of messing around with what like the capabilities of, and then I was working on programming it. I do have this one set up to adjust the audio, so I can turn the volume all the way down like that. So
Sure.
anyway, that's kind of cool. Sorry, what did you say? Let me turn the volume up.
Oh,
Right,
I
there we
said
go.
bless you, but my thing was muted. Sorry, it was not you. But that's cool.
Yeah, so it's cool. I did get the e-ink. So this is one of the ones I actually ended up breaking off the flex cable on this one. So this is where I left it before I got it before I broke it. So I was able to program it and get it to go. This was me testing out with leaving the reset line floating because that was one possible configuration I could use. But I was able to write a library for it. And when I use it, I actually ended up buying another Pico, and then this development kit, and then a couple more of these e-ink boards, because the boards are only like $4.50 each. So they're really, they're not expensive when you compare them to like, I think like the next highest tier ends up being like almost double that. So it's a really like inexpensive. It's the least cost board I've found on DigiKey and Mouser.
Would you share it? The link if you have it?
Yeah, this one. Yeah, so it's from a company called Pervasive Displays. Let me find the link here. So they make a couple different boards. I think what they're predominantly used for is because like the refresh rate isn't that fast, and I'll hook this one up here in a second. I'll show you how it works. The refresh rate isn't that fast, and so it's let's see, let's try and multitask. it takes a couple seconds for it to update. So it's not like, if you remember, like the Amazon e-ink, where it's kind of, I mean, it's not instantaneous, but it's like, it's pretty quick within like 250 milliseconds. Like this is like a good couple seconds for it to update. And so, yeah, anyways, I think what they're predominantly being used for is, I'll send you a link to, I'll put the link in for the one I used. I think they're predominantly used for, if you've seen like at grocery stores, they have either like they'll have like the updated, like, here's how much this price costs kind of thing. And so they're used for that. So they're sort of designed for like a distributed, Internet of Things,
price tags.
Paper. Yeah, price tags. Thank you.
Yeah, where it shouldn't matter too much.
Yeah, because they just do them at night when no one's there. They do actually have a really good, they actually have a pretty good development kit, like in terms of like documenting, they actually provide like an Arduino plugin. So I actually was really helpful. So I actually put Arduino on the Pico just to make sure that like I wasn't terribly insane. And I wasn't, which was great. So that was helpful to sort of like go through that and look at that. And then I used that and just the documentation that they normally have. And then the Adafruit has several e-ink drivers, modules for CircuitPython that I also used to basically write my own library for it. So that's on GitHub now as well, that I'm still working on. So yeah, it's been a pretty fun, interesting journey to get that working, and not quite there, but really close. That
is cool.
Yeah.
Well, yay, Andrew. Yeah, share the link once you have it, and then we'll buy them all out so you can't have any more to play with.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, and I'll you can come back to me in like 5 minutes. I'll have like a little demo I can show you of the e-ink display.
Of course. And then Elliot, we haven't heard much from you tonight. What's going on, sir?
Nothing's changed. My boards are still sitting over there doing the same thing that they do all the time. Nothing. And I'm just waiting patiently till tomorrow, and I have to do this this IPC design competition finals, and we'll see how that goes.
Do you have to do it live?
Yeah.
Is that something we can watch?
It's gonna, I think they're streaming it in the trade show on the floor. So presumably, yes. I don't know if there's any links or whatnot. Also don't know why my video's frozen.
Yeah, you're just a picture right now, Elliot. You're an enigma.
Looking good. Yeah.
It cuts out every couple minutes, so I don't know what's going on.
I have the worst camera.
Yeah, you might want to. Oh, wait, cable. Remember last time you were messing with the cable and it worked? Maybe you need a new cable.
Yeah, I have switched cables at least once. But
or
we'll figure it out.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, you know something? I have a camera.
I'll take it.
Okay. No, seriously, I don't know if you want it. It's not. I don't know how good it is. It's an IPVO document camera from when I was teaching. I was going through boxes the other day, and I was just thinking about getting rid of it. I was going to put it in the Mark voids a warranty pile, but
just void the warranty. I'll scoop one up eventually.
You sure?
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Okay.
I don't really like looking at myself anyhow, so it doesn't bother me so bad.
Well, see, that's the best thing about, being on camera. I mean, how you look is other people's problems, right? Unless you have a monitor up, just minimize the screen. You'll be fine. Who cares?
Yeah, but yeah, we're live streaming the thing tomorrow, I think 1:30 p.m. Pacific.
Listen, man, we are just happy you made it to the finals. That's an incredible achievement.
Yeah, it's a little anxious, but we'll see how it goes.
Don't be anxious. Don't be anxious.
I have the dilemma. So I've got a license for Altium Designer, that's good for about a week. And I need it to do the competition, but I'm apprehensive to invest a lot of time in being proficient with it because I won't be able to, I won't do a project in it because it'll become inaccessible to me. So it's a moral quandary.
Not really. You just
so you're
go to the competition, show up, do what you can, and bounce.
If you watch, you're going to see me how do I rotate an object again?
which I'm going to be honest with you, I've had some conversations with behind your back about exactly that issue. I didn't feel it was fair because some of the other people you're going up against have Altium designer experience and you don't. I didn't feel that was quite a fair level playing ground.
Why did they decide that everyone has to use this expensive, software in this level of competition?
The IPC Apex Expo partnered with Altium this
Oh,
year, so it's a combined thing.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to learn a few things because I think this is their first time they've done it.
It is.
Here. They're probably going to learn quite a few things. I mean, they had 20 entrants, 17 people turned something in, and I don't think they really screened them very well either. And then also it's a little clunky, like the way to go about it. Doing it live is kind of fun, but kind of really awkward. So I don't think it really makes the best like entertainment item, but there may be other ways to go about it. We'll see how it goes.
Well, I'll tell you what the original plan was. That we would showcase rapid prototyping, rapid design to file. So originally what was going to happen is you guys were going to do your boards live at the expo tomorrow, Tuesday. And we were going to have those on the show floor late Wednesday night. By the way, assembled, fabricated and assembled late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. That was the initial impetus, the initial goal of this whole competition thing was to showcase what we can do with rapid prototyping with manufacturer and software integrations, that type of thing. But with the Omicron outbreak, it's kind of hitting hard and heavy. So then everything went online. We went ahead because we didn't know how this was going to work, if it was going to work. So we actually designed a golden board that it's already been manufactured. It's already there. So things changed. It'll be different next year. It'll probably be a little truer to the original form next year. But it's going to be fun, man. You made it to the finals.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's exciting. I'm just trying to think of what could you do that would be a more interesting kind of competition other than who gets it done and who's his least ugly, but maybe something that involves testing. So do the design in an hour and it's something simple, but you're trying to achieve, I don't know, a transmission line that can something at the highest frequency, manufacture them and then test them live and have an actual, competition in that sense.
Yeah.
Or, something like that. Try to make it exciting. This will be something.
If the playing field was a bit more level, I've got every confidence that you would be, rocking them.
Oh, I'm excited.
I'm trying to think of the right way to say this. I think the other designers should fear you a little bit is what I'm saying. So that you aren't familiar with the software, I think is the only thing that's going to keep some of those other designers in the running.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. This is actually the benefit to it for me isn't winning. Honestly, I've learned so much because I entered it and kind of got forced into the deep end right away that that's been the biggest benefit. So,
Yeah. But going from, you've never designed a board before this course. And now you're in the IPC design competition against people who've probably got, 20 years in the field. It is something remarkable.
So next time when the class starts and Mark says enter a contest, I think everybody should do it.
Yeah, man. But you put in the work. That wasn't me. That was you. That was all you. And not being satisfied and ripping it up and putting it down again and ripping it up and putting it down again. That was all you, buddy. So kudos.
And my favorite comment from the score sheet was that one of the guys commented that the board looked like it might have been auto-routed.
I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
Is that a good or
wasn't a
bad
compliment.
thing?
That
I
wasn't.
I
couldn't
don't
tell.
know.
I kind of love it because apparently I have enough consistency and pattern to my mistakes that I can be confused for a machine.
Yeah,
I think that's remarkable.
Your carbon-based auto router.
yeah, man, that was great.
At the very least, I have consistency.
Yeah, that was them raising questions, buddy.
Oh, I know. I just love it.
Yeah, no, that was good. No, I'm proud of you. You did great work. Jesse, do you want to show off your board? Is that in a spot where you can do it?
Yeah, give me a minute. When my internet cut out is because every USB device I had went out. I don't know if it's related to my board. I guess we'll find out. Let's hope not.
My cat is now insisting, he's getting older. He's getting particular. He's now insisting that I get out of my office chair so he can use it to jump up on the desk.
All right.
Oh, I'll tell you what I think we could all use for the next project is a powered USB hub that has like some serious protection in it.
Oh,
So we
yeah.
can do more projects like this without frying our motherboards.
Oh no.
Motherboards are usually pretty good.
I think they're pretty robust. I haven't killed one yet, but there are a lot of times I short things and I don't think twice about it. Like, oh, device removed? Interesting.
Yeah. Or it'll say
Are you-
short circuit detected port, Here we go.
Right.
Hard to tell with what's going on with the light. Maybe if I turn it down.
Are you familiar with the USB killer?
Yes.
Oh, it puts like a high voltage on your USB port.
Yeah, you plug it in and it charges up a bank of embedded capacitors, and then it spikes it back to your computer enough to kill your USB port. If you're lucky.
Why?
If you're unlucky, it will kill your entire motherboard. Because USB is a poorly designed protocol.
Yeah, but it's one of those things like kids take to school.
Okay, but I mean, if you go back to, how it originated, you go back to the AT,
Yeah.
and in ATX, and then, we had the PS2 and then the USB, and everything kept trying to be backwards compatible. If you get to start everything from greenfield installation, great. But, brownfield, I mean, you're just kind of working with what you got. And I don't know if that's so much USB being a poorly designed protocol as much as the ICs not being designed for malicious intent, I don't
Yeah,
know.
they assumed a certain level of benevolent actor always being, which, I mean, to be fair, if someone has physical possession of your hardware, you're boned anyway. So it's not, from a security standpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably put a high voltage on any port on a computer and kill it. Like
that's not really even security. That's just vandalism. I mean, they could smash
that's
it.
fair. That's
Yeah, I mean, it's like you could, I with Elliot, with what he's saying, right? I could hit something with a hammer and say it's poorly designed.
I think there's an XK CD about that.
Yeah, I think you need to upgrade your hammer. Maybe add some electricity to it so you can smash and electrocute at the same time.
I've been looking for projects for a new series called Mark Makes a Mess. That would be a great one.
Oh, just put high voltage through everything.
High voltage sledgehammer. Nobody's done that. That'll be great.
Yeah.
I'll hurt myself.
I think a bunch of supercapacitors and some kind of like
accelerometer.
Conductive test subject.
Okay, so a quick story before, because we should probably let Jesse go, but since you said, high voltage supercapacitors and everything, back when we were doing trade shows, I would go to trade shows and go to the supercapacitor people, and I would try to get them to give them to me. And they're like, well, why? Like, why do you, because I mean, these things like say lethal, like there's stickers that say lethal on them.
Doesn't matter. I want one. I
have one word for you. Pickles. Your capacitor, my pickles. we're going to hit 1 million views.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you got to electrify a hammer so you can smash something and discharge it at the same instant and make things explode.
Oh, totally easy to do. Safely, not a lot, but
Well, that's
Um,
that's
But I'm
Neither.
going to share one other bit of information with you. Back when I was teaching, I used to make high voltage discharge capacitors called Leyden jars. Very easy to make. Plastic jar, because you don't want to use glass because people freak out and they drop it. So you get yourself a plastic, whatever, pretzel jar, whatever. Layer of aluminum foil on the inside, layer of aluminum foil on the outside, connection up to the top, done.
That was
Charge
the
that thing
first.
up.
Wasn't that
Go
the
ahead,
first
Jim.
battery? And then they found them in the Middle East.
It was the first. I don't know that you'd want to call it a battery because it really's got no capacity for charge. It's like a one-shot deal. There's no real way to discharge that reasonably. So you charge it up electrostatic, and then you can discharge it. It depends on how you define battery, I guess. But yeah, those have been around for a while. But anyways, what we do is we charge them up with the Van de Graaff generator, and then I give them to a kid and have them take them over to the English department and have an English teacher touch it.
That's like the classic, like charge up a condenser in auto shop and toss it to your buddy.
Yeah, but it was fun. So anyways, Jesse, man, we've kept you waiting long enough. Sorry.
It's okay. I'm also doing CAD work on the side.
Okay.
Some 3D stuff. All right. So shows real poorly on camera, like every lighted thing. But I designed like a back plate to kind of spread out the light because my lights are on the back. And I also wrote some code. So whenever you hit a button, it races a blue light around that goes up to the eye. And then, depending on which half you press it on. And I have a thing where if you cover up the light for, I think it's like, 6 to 10 seconds, somewhere in there, the lights go out. So like if you have it in your cube at night, it's not super annoying having a flickering light. So.
Nice.
And then I also made a wall hanger version of it where I don't populate any of the keys and stuff. And I have NeoPixel footprints underneath these encoders. So.
Did you 3D print that or laser cut it?
Yes. 3D print.
Okay.
Jess,
It was a pain in the butt because I tried to get the outline of that board. It's a strange shape. So I tried to export from KiCad and it was a nightmare. But then I found the original design files I did in Inkscape and that worked a lot better because KiCad, it took the SVG export and it made it like 1,000 tiny lines and just Fusion was just puking on it. So.
Very cool, man. Now, if you were to do this project again, would you still go with the not Punisher, Warhammer? Or would you do something else?
Well, it depends on if you're supposed to be artsy or usable. I would say it's not very usable, but it's artsy. So,
what would you prefer if you were to do another variant, a new one?
If it wasn't for a class, I would do a usable one. But I think for the class, odd shapes show a lot better. So I'm gonna make 2 keypad versions and have one at home and one at work, and I'm gonna use them for use them for a layout. One nice thing is I can have different code bases on them, so I can have like this button is the rotate. Rotate's a boring one, but like maybe increase line width button, and it works in KiCad, and the same button will work in Altium, but it'll just have different code on the back end.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
so I don't need to know all the hotkeys.
And you can load them up with layers, so you can just long press a button and switch to another set of commands.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So I hadn't even considered that. Is there any way? Okay, so like with my Stream Deck, right? There we go. This guy knows what software I'm running, and I can have different macros loaded accordingly. There's no way for us to do that with our current code base, is there?
No practical way to get information about what the computer's up to, as far as I know, without running software on the PC, like a driver or something.
I think who had asked that? Someone asked that because they wanted, maybe it was
Paul?
I think it was me.
Paul? Yeah, because
Paul
you wanted
raising
to
his
get the
hand, yeah.
volume, right?
I wanted to get volume from the system. Right now, I just say that the default on the setting is 50%, and I turn it far enough so that it turns it all the way down, and then it matches up. But if I change it on my computer, it'll be out of sync.
I've had the same question for I have a button that mutes and unmutes your Zoom, and they're like, "Oh, can I have a light that shows when it's unmuted?" But it'll become out of sync immediately if you, I don't even think there's an API for it, but yeah, that's like a dilemma.
But remember that, I mean, you could write like a small Python something script for your computer, because there is an open serial connection when you're plugged in to the Circuit Python. So it's not like it's like incredibly hard to do.
And actually, what you could do as well is if you write an app for that, you could, if there's enough space on the Pico itself, include it and a README file so that people could actually make use of it. That's been my dilemma. Like if I take this to some other machine or give it to someone, it will possibly become useless if they don't have the software that they need with it.
And you can actually compile Python into machine binary for like Windows and for Linux. I mean,
I've done it.
Once. It's not fun, and I probably would not fit on the Pico at that point because the files are usually several tens of megabytes.
Yeah. So there may be some shortcuts. Someone can find them. Like maybe there's another device driver that's common to on every Windows 10 installation that we could cheat and identify our device as something that already does these things and get access to that info, or who knows.
Did we ever look at how things like caps lock and scroll lock talk back to the host device?
Somebody mentioned it on Discord.
Yeah, it's hold on, I just had the tab open. I think they're dedicated channels that it's like a status that's reserved for the human interface device to be like caps lock, scroll lock, and num lock are assigned a thing. But
I think you're right, because I was trying to make my computer lock, and you can do it on a Mac, but it requires pressing the eject button, which is not a button but a command. It's a single shot command, and I haven't figured out how to do all of that together in one combined signal. Basically,
the keyboard library, you can daisy chain in the press or whatever.
Yeah, I tried that and it wasn't working. I haven't spent more than 10 minutes working on it, so it's
okay. Yeah, there's a couple
debugging e-paper issues.
There's a couple weird things about that. And Paul, you used what I did there, but to get that alt tab thing working, I couldn't use send keys. I had to do presses and releases, I think, because send keys releases anything that's held at the time you use that command. It's weird. Yeah, it would be cool if we could use caps lock and scroll lock, because there is definitely information coming from the computer back to your keyboard in order to turn on an LED. But might be just limited.
Flash the caps lock a whole bunch.
That's what I'm saying. Encode something so we can caps lock the volume back out to the keyboard.
You can totally bit bash.
I'm looking over at my keyboard now, and it's one of those fancy schmancy RGB LED ones. Information's coming back, but I have to imagine that
there's a driver.
There's probably and this is a wild guess, but there's probably a USB hub, whatever that looks like on the USB driver side of things inside the thing. And one of them's acting like the HID device and the other one's acting like a slave's the wrong word, but I would imagine there's two devices broken off. And then one of them you have a driver for that runs the RGB LEDs. The other one's just your generic keyboard driver. I don't know.
I think
Yeah,
that
I think
makes sense.
if you can find a piece of software that's already on most computers that provides that info, because I'm sure there is like a Windows mouse driver that has some more than just the HID profile, and you just emulate it with the Pico. Maybe you can get at something more.
Yeah, that would be interesting. So, Andrew, how's that e-ink coming along?
All right, you ready for a demo?
Ready for a demo?
All right, let me go over here. Okay, so hold that up there. Let's see, get this. Okay, so if I save, it should reload. Here we go.
I saw it.
Yep, it's still doing it. Still going.
Was that one refresh cycle?
Nope.
Or you're doing
Yep,
a
it's
bunch of
still
cool stuff?
Yep. Nope. It's one refresh and now it's done.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, you can see, but you can see, I mean, it looks, I don't know, hopefully it focuses, but
Looks
it
great.
looks really crisp. And if you actually notice, so the top, there's the solid and the outline blocks, and you see a little tiny dot in between the two. So that's an intentional dot I've placed there. It can do text and it can do red. So it can do red, white, and black, or I guess red, gray, and black. So
Why does it have that complicated like erase and whatever?
Ooh, you gotta watch there's a link I put in the
yeah,
chat here.
that's from, is that Ben?
Yeah,
Applied Sciences?
Applied
Yeah.
Science. There's like
Yeah, I love him. He's great. I gotta go watch that. Yeah, so it's you're basically moving charged particles in a layer. So this is the top surface, this is the bottom. So you're moving charged particles, and so it has to get them all in one place to start, and then it has to move them a certain distance down in order to make them visible or invisible. But it has to do that. And what I don't know is I don't know how it works with like when you have, because
three
basically
colors.
when you have three colors, right? Because with like if it's black and white, the natural color is white, right, with like black particles, and so it floats them all to the top, and then it drags them all down to the bottom, and then or certain ones it drags down to the bottom. I don't know how it does it with red though, because it looks like it's doing something where it like sets the red ones first or sets the black ones first and then does the other ones and then like somehow brings the other ones back, but I'm not quite sure what it's doing. So
I think he tries to explain it, but yeah, it's something
Okay,
about
yeah.
those particles. Like they move a certain distance with the amount of time and the charge, and by flip-flopping it, you can get the red ones to migrate while the black ones kind of just go between two positions. It's funky, but very
Yeah.
cool. I'm
Interesting.
sure I got
So-
that wrong, but definitely watch the video.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go do that. So I dropped links in for the DigiKey part into the YouTube, and I also dropped links in for the driver I wrote. That's still a work in progress, but hopefully future viewers will benefit from it being more complete in theory. Yeah, it's been interesting. So I'm excited to be able to use this in other things where I could use like a display, but I don't necessarily need it to be like a high refresh rate. So, and there's like tons of applications for that. I mean, most of the applications I would use it for are probably things that don't necessarily need a high refresh rate, like temperature type sensors.
Right.
So,
Or
yeah.
if you want to have a guest access to your Wi-Fi, but you want that to change
Oh yeah.
somewhat
And-
frequently.
Yeah, I want to say he also had a technique for refreshing only part of the image as well. So you could potentially have like a clock that refreshes, but leave the rest alone.
Yeah, so and I could probably do some of that potentially. I tried to follow, well, I leverage. I mean, so basically the way the code works is you start with you basically are doing like a bitmap canvas, and so when you like create those different colors, you are literally just assigning values to. So it's a 152 by 152 pixel display. And so you're literally just assigning, red, black, or white to every one of those pixels. And then the way it works is it shuffles along all of those data row by row by row. So there's actually two, I think they're called fields. So it does the first field, and then which is either the black or the white, and then the second field, which is then like the white or the red. I don't know exactly how that works anyway. so it has to do it twice, but then it shuffles all of that data into the onboard buffer that's on the display itself, and then it does that weird update thing. And when you do the update, what you're literally doing, so you've shuffled all your data in, bit for bit, line by line, and then you send it a command that says, it's the show display command, which is hex 12, and then it does that, and then you just wait for the busy line to be done, and that's it. So there's a lot that I think happens behind the scenes with this that you might not have control over.
Still very cool. And you said cost how much?
$4.50, $5. I think DigiKey was like $4.92. I think when I looked like 10 minutes ago, something like that. So yeah, it's quite inexpensive. I haven't looked at like AliExpress or some of the other sites where you could get it. You could get other ones cheaper, I'm sure. I think what makes this one interesting is that it doesn't use so most e-ink papers, it looks like they use like a third-party chip, kind of like USB flash drives. Like the memory itself will be from like one company, but then the actual drive, it's like the flash converter, I think is what it's called. Sorry, flash translation layer, FTL. The FTL will be by like Samsung or something. And they've actually taken out that third party and they put the actual e-paper controller straight on the glass. So it's their own chip on glass implementation of it, which I think is how they get the cost down a little bit more. But that also means there's not a common driver support with CircuitPython yet until now.
Until Andrew came along.
Until I came along and said, this is worth 12 hours of my life to write a driver for this.
I didn't see your GitHub in the chats.
Yeah, they're in the YouTube chat. Did I not? Yeah, they're in there.
What's on the YouTube chat? Not the.
Yeah, I put them in
yeah, but it should come through to me here, and it's not.
I will put them in the private chat as well, and you can paste them over.
Well, no. If they're in the YouTube chat, I'm just not seeing them on StreamYard. So there must be a problem with the link. Oh, there it is now. Now I see it.
Well, I just put one of them in the private chat.
Okay, I see that in the private chat.
You want me to put the rest of them there?
No, they'll be in the YouTube, and that's all that gets saved. StreamYard doesn't get saved, so people will have access to them.
Yeah, so they're in there. I also put the link to the XKCD and the DigiKey in there as well.
I did see the XKCD. I did not see the DigiKey. So just something goofed up software-wise. So if you guys have that e-ink display, Andrew Ferguson has solved your problem. So,
yeah, and that link you put right there, that's for the PCA 9745B.
Never mind.
That's the LED one. Also worthwhile though.
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah, that's Jesse and I should have picked a different chip. Oh well, live and learn.
Now you can pick that one.
Yeah, we'll have to fix it for the next round. Speaking of which, it's time for a couple Teach Me PCB updates. So one thing, I'm trying a different theme, and I started the CSS sheet for this. It's got like 30 different color choices, and I just wasn't in the mood to figure them all out today. But if you guys want to play around with the new GUI, basically a new theme, you just add the little question mark theme equals adaptable, and you can see kind of the direction that I'm going to take it. Once I get all the colors fixed, all the graphics fixed, then I'll flip the switch and make it live for everybody. But you can kind of see what the back end looks like now, or the new back end. So that'll be kind of fun. Hopefully address some of the issues with the user interface. I know people don't really care for it. So I've been working on that a little bit here and there, quietly, because I don't know exactly when I'm going to get it finished. It's going to depend on schedule availability. Other exciting things. We've started designing a gift for you.
Ooh.
So for the people who have been integral to the course, I wanted to give a little something back, and I had an idea, and I figured we'd, get it knocked out in a couple weeks. And Elliot did it in a day because he's not.
and he's concerned about the competition tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. He's crazy. I'm telling you, his inexperience with Altium is the only thing that's given these other competitors a chance. That's it.
Which might not be the worst thing in the world. I mean, just, all I'm saying is that sometimes when you aren't familiar with something, you actually think outside the box better.
Hey,
Yeah.
my advantage is I don't know what I can't do. Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
So Elliot and Paul have been helping me out with that. Anyways, once we give you guys the gifts, once we mail them to you, and Brian too, which I'm surprised he isn't here tonight. Hope everything's okay. But Brian's going to get one. Once we mail them to you, I want you to not say anything about them, because I think it's going to make for one heck of a cool design competition. So what we're going to send you is near as we can tell, and Elliot and Paul, you can correct me in case you found any. Has anybody else done this before?
Not in the first 2 pages of Google image results that I've seen.
Paul, how about you? Nothing.
And I don't even know what we're talking about.
No, you won't.
It's important.
The only people who are in on this right now are Elliot, Paul, and I.
Okay.
Nobody else, not even people who aren't on the call. Just because I didn't know how long it would take me to get around to doing. I certainly thought it would take longer for Elliot to get around to doing, but it's Elliot. What are you going to do?
I had stuff to do the weekend, so got to get it done first.
So Elliot, Paul, and I have been working on this. We've got like 86% of the boards ordered. We're going to work on one more and get that ordered. But anyways, once we get these things in, I want to turn it into a design competition. Throw it at Hackaday. See if we can't get a little momentum going until the next course rolls around. So, and then I also told you we're looking at bringing in paid instructors. Everybody knows about that one.
Yep, I've heard the rumors.
And we would like one of those paid instructors to be Jesse, but I haven't heard a yay or nay yet. I know his schedule is really busy, but I think he's got a lot to offer the community. So if it works out, great. If not, the offer will remain open. And then other news in the world of Teach Me PCB, we still need to do feedback. I've set up a Calendly where I'd like everybody to, jump on, join, sign up for a spot. We'll get on Zoom, just you and me, and we'll talk about the course, what you liked, what you didn't. I'll take all the parts where you said you didn't like it. I'll delete all of those so nobody ever sees them, and I'll just promote the best part because that's what people do. I'm kidding. No, we'll try to be fair, but I will definitely propagandize a lot of the results. And then I think that's all the updates. I think that's about all I got. So sign up, join me online. Sign up for the design competition when I release details about that. And that's all I got. You guys have anything else for the good of the cause?
Nope.
I got nothing.
Jess?
Nope.
Paul?
Got nothing.
All right. Gentlemen, I really appreciate your time. You guys want to do this again next week, or what do we want to do?
I'm usually week to week. I'll have to see.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not quite sure what next week holds for me.
Okay, well, we can leave it open. I won't.
Yeah, let's see if there's something new to bring. If anybody else has got their boards up or whatever,
Okay.
and if nothing, then you can skip it.
When do you guys want to spam Adafruit?
Maybe not this week.
Okay.
But I do have something like I'm at a point where I can show it. Just I feel like I got a lot going on this week, so next week might be better for having nighttime.
Okay. Well, we don't have to all do it at once. We could jump on as catch as catch can. That'd be fine. But Adafruit's got a show and tell every Wednesday at, I want to say, is it 5:30 or 4:30 Pacific? Anybody know?
That's cool.
I want to say 5:30 Pacific. But you jump on their Streamyard. They put their link in their Discord channel right before. There's 10 slots, just like here. So whoever jumps in are the people that get them. And then, you just sit there in the waiting room. They bring you on one at a time, show off what it is that you've done, and everybody oohs and ahs and loves it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Absolutely. So if you're not already, join the Adafruit Discord server. If I'm available, I'll post the link as soon as I realize it's there. But yeah, hop on, show people what you made, tell them about Teach Me PCB, and see if we can't get some people showing up. And we'll make some new friends.
And when do you think the next? I think you told me, but I guess for everyone else, when do you think the next cohort of Teach Me PCB is going to start?
Okay,
Roughly.
So current plan, and everything's in flux, is we would like to get the paid courses up and running in March and April. And I'm going to keep myself available so I can help the new instructors. So as soon as they're on their feet, we'll do the next cohort after that. So May, June is kind of what we're looking at right now.
All right.
Which is a little further out than I'd like for the free one, but I also know how much incredible work it is to get a course going. And I want to make sure that our newbies are successful. So, and they'll be affordable. The courses will be, we're looking at the cost of a large pizza is what we're aiming for. So,
Yum.
Yum. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for your time and your chattiness. I mean, next time we're going to have to, raise our hand to speak or something, because, everyone's just talking all over each other this time. Y'all are nuts. All right. This Friday at noon Pacific, I'll be voiding a Amazon HD Fire 8, I believe it is. So join me on Mark Voids a Warranty, where I smash things with hammers. But I'm also going to take another shot at using the hot plate disassembly technique. So we'll see if I improve my skills there. I do no research. I do no study for any of these. What you see is what's happening live, which I think is evidenced by the results. So, and then also Joe Grand has a neat video that came out on Friday. And also an article in The Verge. So just Google Joe Grand, look up videos. He saved a $2 million Bitcoin wallet for somebody, which I think is pretty cool. And they did this. They had to record it before Bitcoin crashed again. So let's hope whoever it was cashed out, because they're going to wish they did. So, all right, everyone. Have a great evening. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.